Is that recording?
Now it is. Go ahead and crunch.
No, wait.
Give me some crunches.
Does that sound bad?
It sounds.
Dudes to Dads is a podcast to help men understand and navigate the transition of being a single dude into a family man. How do we make sense of it all? Well, we probably won't be able to, but let's go ahead and have some fun trying. And we're back. You know what, Alan?
Like
I really enjoy that music.
Yeah.
It's our intro and our outro.
Yeah.
I will give you compliments. That is exclusive music to Dudes to Dads podcast.
That's correct. It's not available anywhere else. I produced it.
Can we sell it?
Possibly.
I mean, if somebody wants to purchase it, give us a jingle at podcast at dudestodads.com. We could use a little revenue here.
Yeah, right. A little sponsorship.
Why not? It's a cool jam. It's an original
I appreciate
jam.
that. Thank you. Yeah.
So our episode today, well, let's go ahead and, you know what? We got to just step back.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Jason Kreidman.
And I'm Alan Bush.
And this is the Dudes to Dads podcast,
That's
which
correct.
people should already know because they heard the intro.
They probably clicked it on iTunes or something.
Yeah. Well, or Stitcher.
Stitcher or any other podcast.
Right. Or just on the website as well.
True.
So the episode today is about back to school.
Awesome.
Preparing your kids, actually, for back to school. So
timely.
Yeah, we're going to get into some stuff. In fact, let me give you a little bit of a rundown of what we're going to talk about today.
Cool.
So we have the battlefield, which is usually everybody's favorite because, battling is fun.
Yeah, right.
Right. And just talking about preparing the kids for kindergarten. I happen to have this is a personal thing for me. My daughter, my son actually is now is going into second grade.
Yeah.
But my daughter is starting kindergarten. And so that was something we said. I was kind of thinking, like, what could I do to make this a little bit easier?
Yeah.
And kind of looking at it. So I started looking at some things and I want to share that. So
I imagine it's a big deal because they're just starting a new school.
Yeah, it is. It is a big deal. So, and then we've got stuff to do. This is going to be something that you can do with the child that's starting school.
Okay.
Or, going back to school, however.
Right.
SuperCharge, really cool product. I met this person actually through LinkedIn.
Oh, awesome.
And she has some really cool products that I think are worth sharing. And so we'll get into those. I've got a dad's debate.
Oh, cool.
Yes, we love our debates.
I do love the debates.
Go back and forth. And there's not necessarily always a right and wrong answer.
Or even a debate. It's just more of a discussion.
But there's usually...
Debate sounds cooler.
Yeah, but debate, usually there is two sides to it.
Yeah.
I mean,
point and counterpoint.
Well, or there's 20 counterpoints and you kind of have to decide where you are on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a better way.
That makes sense, yeah.
And then we will get into dad's homework. And that's it's going to be some homework that you can do with related to this first kind of week of school.
Okay.
Of kids getting back.
And kids getting homework.
Oh.
It's a whole other thing.
Yeah. And then quote of the day. All right. It's about school.
Okay. I sense a running theme.
Yes. It's a back to school episode.
Oh, yeah.
So let's get started with the battlefield. So the way that this battlefield came about was, as I mentioned, my daughter is starting kindergarten.
Yeah.
And that is a big deal. And so, I remember with my son was so excited to start kindergarten that it didn't feel like it was as big of an emotional deal, if you will. Like, it was a milestone, no question. Like, my wife and I were like, wow, this is a big deal. He seems so much older, getting into it. But he was so excited. He was prepared. He was laying his stuff out. He was so excited to be in kindergarten.
Well, that's cool.
Whereas my daughter is a little bit different. She is a little apprehensive. She had been talking about some excitement, but I think she's also talked about being scared.
Do you think that your daughter might have prepped your son for it on some level because she experienced it and might have talked to him and said, "Hey."
My son experienced it, and then.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the other way around? Is it?
No, so my son is 7.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so he's in second grade.
So it's the other way around. Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay,
so my daughter is now going into kindergarten.
Gotcha. So she's more apprehensive.
Right.
Gotcha.
So I think it's important for us to prepare the kids prepare the children for kids, prepare the children
started early
for kindergarten.
Yeah.
And there are some things that you can do to sort of help with that transition and or help with that experience. And so I myself was looking at it because, like I think I had said, is my son I dare say it wasn't as big of a deal for him.
Yeah.
On the negative side, meaning he wasn't scared. He wasn't, he was really eager to go.
Yeah.
And so I didn't feel like there was as much preparation needed.
Is that just a personality thing, or what do you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think yeah. I mean, I don't know what to attribute it to.
Right.
I mean, if anything, she has a lot of experience because of him. Mm-hmm. She's gone into the classroom. Because my wife had volunteered. I mean, she's been to the school to pick him up and go in. I mean, so it's not like it's completely foreign to her.
Right. Where it was to
him. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Where you're the first time child or an only child. It's like you're going. This is a brand new place.
Right.
So I've got a couple tips that I think are good, that I kind of looked not only just what it helped me out, but then I also looked online and found some sort of collective tips of what you can do to help prepare them for their first, school experience.
Right.
So the first one is to do a dry run.
Actually,
a dry run of school. So that is actually whether, visit the school. Oftentimes they'll have an orientation, like there is an orientation for my daughter this coming week.
Yeah.
So you can go to the school, meet the teacher, do those things. So you're not just showing up on the first day of school.
Right.
Your child will know, this is where I go.
Right.
This is the person I'm meeting. This is where I'm going to go into the class. I mean, all these things, get familiarity with it.
Yeah.
Because the first times are always difficult. And if you can go there, and I think some schools, they might even make special arrangements or do, as long as you, coordinate it, you could probably just come onto the campus or something the week prior.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of them probably have orientations. I know ours does. But she's even apprehensive about that.
Okay.
So, you got to kind of deal with that.
Helping, yeah.
And so within that I said, so one, you want to visit the school. I think the other one is dropping them off and actually, or, the practice of dropping them off. You're not leaving, but
fend for yourself for another 3 hours.
Yeah. But sort of talking through like, hey, on the first day of school, when we go, here's where I'm going to drop you off.
Okay.
I'm going to drop you off here. I'm with you the entire time, until you get into your class, and then, and then at the same time, practice picking them up.
Yeah.
And you're saying, hey, this is where I'm going to pick you up. So right when you come out of your classroom, I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. It's just, when you try to put yourself in the mind of a 5-year-old, it is so overwhelming because it's so new.
So new.
It's very hard to do that.
Away from family,
it is.
Away from your house, away from the things that make you comfortable.
A lot of kids, they probably have been in preschool.
Yeah.
But it's a bigger, there's a lot more kids, there's a lot more going on, and it's not just total playtime. They're actually going to be learning and doing stuff. So,
right.
So that's probably the first one, I thought was really important, was just kind of doing a dry run or a practice run. Mm-hmm. The second thing was getting ready the night before. So getting everything ready the night before. That may be laying clothes out, getting the lunch ready, talking with them about the different things that they're going to do, whatever your routine is in the morning, just so that the morning's going to go a little bit more smooth.
Yeah.
That was the second one. So the third one is to learn the teacher's name, because usually ahead of time, at least maybe a couple days or a week or whatever, and talk about the teacher and the positivity of the teacher and that experience. So as an example, it might be, hey, I can't wait till Mrs. Richards gets to see how well, you enjoy school, or, whatever, or, that you like to color, or something like that.
Right.
And using the name Miss Richards or Miss whatever, and using so that she or he becomes familiar with the name.
Yeah.
So that was an overriding thing. I read a lot about that. It's like, sort of getting that familiarity ahead of time.
Yeah.
So they're not just calling them teacher.
Right.
Or
Do you get to
professor
know
or
the teacher of your child before they go into the classroom?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, other than orientation.
Yeah, and you kind of know what's going to happen, but you'd never...
Right.
Okay.
I mean, if you're so lucky to have the child before...
Yeah.
or before, and you've gone through and some of the,
Sure.
Our school is small enough where you kind of know some of the teachers and who they are.
Yeah.
But, haven't sat down and had a personal conversation with them.
Right.
So,
would your kids be in the same school?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is going to be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just one time, yeah.
Two birds, one stone.
Yeah, totally. You take them at the same time.
Yeah.
It's so much easier. Yeah.
Right on.
And then, so that's the third one. The fourth one, which seems pretty obvious for any child at any age, is get plenty of sleep.
Right. Yeah.
And here's the thing. They are going to be, I didn't realize how exhausted they are.
Yeah.
Because this is their first time, oftentimes, unless they were doing like a full-time preschool or something like that.
Sure.
Where they are literally like their brain is working for a long extended period of time and they're exhausted this first week. I didn't realize that. Somebody had told me that that's going to happen. I was like, no. I mean, my son, when he went through this, he was conked out early, could not get up in the morning. I mean, it was like this mental, sort of, the shift that you all of a sudden have to deal with this. And we just don't think of that stuff. Like, I just don't think about it.
I think about it now that you mention it.
Or it's kindergarten, you get to have fun.
Exactly. You're just having a ball. No, it's like you said, it's a mental thing. Your brain is working for basically 6 to 8 hours or however long they're in there. Right. I think about that in terms of even our jobs, like you and I are marketers.
You're exhausted.
And we're exhausted at the end of the day. We're just sitting here on a computer, but we're not doing anything physical except maybe getting up to get coffee.
Right.
And then we're exhausted at the end of the day. I almost feel like, what kind of excuse do we have that it happens? But because your brain's constantly processing information and trying to juggle things, you're exhausted.
Well, I mean, mental exhaustion, some would argue it's worse than the physical exhaustion. So people who have, let's say, a labor-intensive job, that's exhaustive too.
Oh, absolutely.
But there's no question, the mental part of it when you are crunching numbers and doing things, and especially when your mind, for a kid is doing stuff that they probably have never done before.
And interacting with social things that you never experienced.
The stimulation is insane. Yeah. It's like, all of a sudden there's all these other kids, they're yelling. I don't know that I'd want to go back there.
No, I don't have
so we have to be a little sensitive to that.
Sure.
And of course, any child that is going back to school has to get back into the routine. Once you're in summer, it's like, they wake up late, do this. So you want to probably do that even maybe a week prior, is start getting back into the swing a little bit of having a little better schedule. Sure. If you're not doing that, during the summer.
Right.
And then the other number 5 was eat healthy foods. Mm-hmm. Which, everybody, of course, experts say, as far as eating a healthy breakfast, eating the night before healthy, and even probably, a couple days before. So maybe lay off some of the junk and the party food and that kind of thing, and really focus on giving them a healthy meal.
Fruits and veggies.
And then also in the meal itself to school, sort of get in the habit of providing them a healthy meal. Yeah. Not that, hey, in my lunch at school, I always get XYZ. Like, you kind of, obviously every family's individual and they all make the decisions of what kind of nutrition they feed their kids.
Sure.
I can just tell you, for me and my kids, we like to have, at least in the house, to eat fairly healthy. Yeah. So that when they're out in the world, they can eat stuff that's not so healthy. You know what I'm saying? It's because you just can't avoid it.
Sure.
But the idea of making lunches healthy and eating that way was a good thing, which we could have a whole podcast
just on nutrition.
On nutrition.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get me started. And then the sixth one, and this was my own that I did, was created a morning schedule. And I don't know, I think I remember, maybe I talked with you about this, was I actually wrote out or printed out a schedule for my son down to the, wake up at 6:45, 6:55, wash, brush teeth, down to the minutes, so that he had a schedule. And we put that, I laminated it. I love my lamination machine. Laminated it.
You have a lamination machine?
Yeah, totally. I love it.
That's awesome.
Put one in his room, put one down by the kitchen. And so now I've got to do this within the next couple days. I have to add my daughter's name to it. Yeah. So that she can see, because I think she'd actually really like that. And children appreciate the structure, which you learn. And so they really like that structure. So I think that would be very helpful, is to actually have, here's the morning schedule, so that they know, okay, I got to, it's funny, 7 years later, they still don't remember. It's like you have to remind them every day about going to bed. Like, hey, what do? We brush teeth, we put on pajamas, it's like constantly reminding them. It's like they don't want to remember.
Right.
And so that schedule allows them to police it themselves and be like, hey, you know what? I'm in control of my schedule.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. So that's a good one. I really think that's that, they respond to that.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great idea.
In doing that. So I've got to get on it. I've got to do these things.
When are they coming back?
Coming back to what?
To school.
Oh, we're recording on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And they're this Monday. So,
so in about 6 days, basically.
Yeah. So
wow.
It's going to be quick.
Yeah.
So
right on.
I'm in the thick of it right now. That's why I was saying this might be great for a podcast. So that's the battlefield. And the reason I said it was kind of put it as a battlefield was a lot of the times the kids don't want to go.
Yeah.
That was kind of where the battlefield idea came.
Sure.
Just trying to tie that back that it actually was a
the
battlefield.
theme of the actual segment.
Well, it really is that. A lot of times they're just scared to go. They don't want to go. So that's it. So let's wrap that up and let's move on to stuff to do.
Dad, what are we going to do today?
So as I mentioned in the previous segment, your kid's gonna be exhausted.
Yeah.
Really, really tired. And really, and sort of just could be drained, and just, it's a transition. It's different. So one of the things I think is really valuable, if you don't do this already, is to give your child a massage.
Really?
Yeah.
You think so?
Well,
got massages as a kid.
You did?
No, never.
Oh, well, that's a whole other thing. But, and I think we're going to talk about it on a future episode.
Okay.
About touch.
Oh, gotcha.
Even if it's just a neck and shoulders, scalp massage, you don't have to do full body, whatever.
Yeah.
Or you rub their
Shiatsu.
feet. Yeah, but you rub their feet or something.
Yeah.
I think, I recall, especially my wife did that to our kids when they were really young. And still to this day, my kids will always or every once in a while they'll be like, hey, can you massage my back? Like when they're going to sleep or something like that. That touch is really, really important.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just giving, even if it's quick, 10 minutes or something, but when they get home, they're gonna be exhausted, and that idea of sort of just massaging and touching, it's really, really important. I think so, and I know that my kids responded to that.
Do you think it's for just the kind of the first week or so, and then they just
yeah? You don't want them to expect it every day.
Yeah, where's my massage 3 years later?
Yeah, I think just noticing that first. Couple days.
This is a rough day. Sorry, champ. Let me help you out.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Just. And it's the touch too. It's that physical.
I almost want to say that's even the more important part, is that you're kind of bonding on some level, and that touch will help with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's really important. I think that's on a stuff like what can you do, as something to share with them, especially during their first week. That's something that you can really do, with them. Maybe, depending on how they're feeling, you take turns. You say, hey, give me a neck massage, because sometimes they like doing that too. They like making you feel good. And then you turn around and give them one. Even massaging somebody's hand.
Yeah.
Just the touch to your child. It's funny. As parents, oftentimes they don't do that, and especially men.
Yeah.
I can tell you, it's probably not very common.
Sure.
Other than a hug and a kiss.
Yeah.
Or you're sort of, maybe if you're sitting down watching a movie, or your arm is around them or something. But I notice when my kids, if I am that touchy, they really respond positively to it.
Yeah.
They cuddle up. They really, really like it. So
and you don't have to be like deep tissue or tie.
No, you don't even have to know what you're doing, really.
Right, yeah, exactly.
It's just that idea that you're making the effort.
My girlfriend's a massage therapist, so
there you go.
So it should be a lot easier for her, I think.
That would be a lot easier. I wish I knew that stuff. So, all right, well, let's move on to SuperCharge. So our SuperCharge product for today is a product called Brain Packets.
Brain Packets.
Brain Packets.
Packets of brains?
No.
Okay.
Brain Packets. No. Deborah McNelis, she has developed these packets, and I think she calls them packets, but they're basically products that help with children's early brain development.
Okay.
So, our topic is school.
Yeah.
And back to school. And I thought, I had talked with her. I met her through LinkedIn. We had a great discussion. We were talking about the product. and I started looking at these, and they're really, really cool. So the early brain development of, language, cognitive, physical, social, emotional, all this stuff, she has various packets depending on the age of the child. So there's like 0 to, there's a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, because they all learn at different times and different things. And so there's literally I think the one with for a 1-year-old had 40 different exercises that you can do. And so that might be, having them grab something or, touching them or having them say something or, whatever the things are. But it's getting their brain development early.
Yeah.
And, that's getting those, sort of synapses firing and, doing that, which I think is really, really important. Actually, it's interesting. So I was listening to our last episode with Dr. Singley.
Oh, yeah.
I remember he was talking about throwing the baby up in the air or as such, something like that. Yeah. But the stimulation that a father gives.
Sure.
And how that helps for brain development and emotional, all those things.
Yeah.
And so this is, similar in that you are firing off those neurons very, very early on.
Yeah.
Which, I'm guessing there's probably some statistics leading, that says that that's better off in the future.
I have to say, and I give a lot of credit to my mom and to my grandma, my grandfather, people, and my aunts that have kind of contributed to that. Because I know very early on I was reading. And my grandfather couldn't even believe I was reading because I was so young, reading signs that were on the street when we were driving by them. I also have an audio clip. So
you think that they were influenced? I mean, they would say things and do things.
My mother
and work with you,
has an audio clip of her saying, I was repeating the alphabet with her. I was 9 months old at the time.
Oh, wow.
So it was very early. So I know they were really encouraging that at an early age. I don't think they just meant to be like, you're going to be a brainiac. But they were just like, just thought, they want to teach you stuff.
Right.
And they just assumed that I'd understand.
Right.
And I did. And
and as a parent, you do have to make that effort.
Yeah.
Sometimes obviously kids will just learn early and whatever. Right. But, you can notice that, when you talk to the children a lot and you're actually, doing flashcards or, it makes a difference. I mean,
does,
their learning capabilities and what they can do. So so these are really cool products that you can available for purchase.
So what are in the packets?
Well, let me see.
Are there some? I guess it would be maybe different types of games.
Yeah, I mean it's all kinds of exercises. For an example, I'm looking here. When you're age 3. So it's called Play With Me while I'm age 3. And so there's 40 different brain development activities. So there'll be all kinds of stuff from understanding information. Maybe you're going to point to something and they have to say what it is. There's it's kind of entertaining. I mean, there's a lot of different things depending on what it is that you're, that they're learning at that stage.
Right.
And then also developing confidence. I mean, she lists a lot of the things that, you're going to get out of these, but it's great. I mean, I think it's a great idea. They're very, very specific towards the age or even some of the things that you want or you may want out of it, to learn from it.
I like that it's age specific too, because there's like you said, there's different stages of development.
Absolutely.
And every age probably has one.
Yeah. So I'm going to, we'll put a link on the website,
cool.
just, for anybody who's interested and let them know you heard it about it on Dudes to Dads.
Yeah.
And that'd be great.
Yeah.
So that's for our SuperCharge segment.
Cool.
So now we're going to get into a dad's debate. We had a debate some time back about children, or I think it was the daughters or girls.
Yeah.
And makeup.
Makeup, right. What's the appropriate age for makeup, right.
So this is somewhat in a similar vein.
Okay.
It came up in a topic, and I thought about it, and I don't know that I had a very strong answer, but I can certainly it's worth a debate.
Okay.
Should you police your children's clothes, and if so, at what age?
So by policing, meaning you forbid them to wear certain things?
Correct.
Okay.
It would probably you could define it quite a bit. So one would be, non-school, summertime and they're wearing something.
Yeah, wear your nice clothes to school, and summertime wear your shorts.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Then also though in school saying you are not wearing that to school. Whatever.
You're not just like a hoochie mama.
Now but there's dress policies.
There are at certain schools, yeah.
I mean, a lot of schools have them.
Sure.
If they don't have a dress, specific dress code or uniforms. So the question is, do you police? And I was thinking more of along the lines of when a child is in school.
Yeah.
Do you police it, or do you allow the school to police it? And there's some things in the news recently about like outfits. A woman got fired from work for not dressing appropriatly, or
yeah,
so,
which is in and of itself kind of strange. Like I would imagine you would just give them a warning or something. And I remember going to class. I'm sorry, going to work where you had to wear a shirt and a slacks, and now I wear jeans and if I want a t-shirt.
We're in San Diego.
Yeah, we're in San Diego, and we're for internet marketing. Right. Yeah, we don't care. But I mean,
I'm a consultant. Nobody sees me, so yeah.
Exactly. No one's coming to my office. But that being said, with school, I do remember that kids would wear whatever t-shirts that they wanted for the most part. So to kind of further this debate, are we talking about specific genders? Because I feel like there would be a different
good question.
There would be a different thing there going on.
Oh, so it's called the double standard.
It's called the complete double standard.
Oh.
Yes, absolutely.
In what way then do you think? So you think it's more a boy can get away with? You're going to allow a boy to wear, let's say, a cut off shirt and show more skin essentially than
I guess you
would a daughter
Well, I think that the daughter would be more apt to do that rather than the guy. Like a guy might wear a tank top, and that's kind of a little unusual in and of itself, wearing that to class. But
they do.
But to show skin is kind of not really they may want to show off their muscles a little bit if they got a little buff or something. But with the women, and unfortunately this is a double standard, that showing skin draws a lot of attention from the boys. Mm-hmm. And so the boys are going to be looking more, and if you wear the skirts and the whatever, put on the makeup as we said earlier, and wear
so
your
what
sexy
age
outfits.
do you start policing that?
That's a really good question. I'm not even to be honest, I'm not sure I should police them.
Well, that's the
debate. But at the same time, I'm very. This is one of the future nightmares I have, and I'm sure you might have one as having a daughter now.
You can even take it down to something that's not as controversial as your kid is 5 years old.
Okay.
And he's going to wear brown pants with, a purple shirt.
I was going to say
what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's funny you said purple. I was going to say purple.
Yeah, I mean, which...
I don't care about that.
Okay.
Fashion, whatever.
So that's an individual thing, which we talked on a previous episode about costumes.
Yeah.
And just not caring at a certain point.
Yeah.
There definitely becomes a certain point where you have to make that decision whether you care or not, because it affects, it's unfortunate, but it affects the child
in their social
environment.
Yeah. No, and I agree with that. I would kind of guide them. I wouldn't police them. It's one thing to say, don't do that. It's another thing to say, you know what matches better? Not purple and brown in this context.
Which one would you like better? Blue or red?
Yeah, exactly. You have choices. These two.
But it's a really hard thing, and is why it's a debate. Is, as an example, you let your child do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And they don't comb their hair.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you just let your child do whatever it is they're going to do.
Yeah.
You want them to be clean.
Right.
You don't want them to have to put gel and perfect and worry about hairspray and
sure.
At a young age it's like you really don't want to necessarily, but plenty of people do.
Yeah.
And it's a concern of many parents because they feel like it's a reflection of them.
That's true. And as you said, it kind of does go into their social life a bit.
So does it start when they go to school?
Yeah. And that's a tough one. That is really tough because I do stand by the answer, though, of not policing, but trying to guide them in the right direction. If they really insist on, I really want to wear this purple shirt with the brown pants. Okay.
My son does that.
Okay, good. Yeah. Brown, purple. Let's go.
We'll say that, saying like, hey, that may not look as good as your other shirt. But if that's what you're going to wear, then
Yeah.
And kids now, they're wearing like different colored socks, 2 different colored socks and
Punky
everything
boosters.
else. Yeah. But I was thinking of it in that context of like, when do you start to have an influence in making sure that they're just at least following rules?
Yeah.
versus allowing it to just happen. Meaning, like, if you don't police, I mean, hey, free flow. Kids can do whatever they want because it's their wardrobe that you've already purchased, or so they only have so many things.
Sure.
But meanwhile, like, a girl will tie their shirt up under, or I mean, there's things that they can do. And at what age do you kind of say, hey, that's not appropriate, or I don't like, because it's what you believe.
Yeah. Right.
It's not what the child maybe is comfortable with.
Well, I imagine that a lot of parents that grew up with hippie kids, or the punk generation, to have a later term, heavy metal when we were kids, probably, are
going to have a different
they have these perspectives, and they think in the style with the boys growing the long hair.
Well, we're in San Diego, so I mean, I can tell you that there's a tremendous amount of long-haired people.
Well, I got long hair.
Yeah,
but I mean,
long hair, surfer, and sometimes you can't tell whether it's a boy or a girl.
Yeah, right. You're a very pretty male.
Yeah,
but no.
Actually, I was at a party recently.
Yeah,
it was all kids. There was kids there.
Yeah,
and this young boy. I mean, I knew he was a boy. Walked in with his parents, and one of the girls that was talking, one of the moms, was like, "Is that a boy or a girl?" I'm like, "It's a boy."
Hey, human.
Like, yeah,
individual.
Yeah, it was just funny, because I mean, she really didn't know.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. You get an effeminate looking kid, it's just okay. But yeah, I guess that's the thing. It's like, where do those cultural norms go in, and where do you just say, look, do what you like? I think somewhere in the middle, I would lean towards the do what you like, but I'm going to guide you. And if it's outlandish, I'm going to be like, look, that's probably not a good idea. You know, you're wearing a big.
You don't want to get it beat up for something.
Yeah, exactly. If it's like racist or something, or like some dissing, have some real controversial thing on their shirt.
Well, but they'll get policed at school.
They'll get policed at school for that. And
so do you allow that to happen?
Well, no, I'm going to say you're going to get policed at school for that. Trust me, it's going to happen. And even if you sneak it away and do something else with it, it's going to be policed at school. So please do not get in trouble for some silly statement you want to make. I would let them know. And again, I'm saying it's my opinions, but I'll tell them straight out, like, I'm not a big fan of that. And I think I do that hopefully with some tact. And with kids, I know it's a little bit more of a sensitive subject, but man, that's a really good question. And I think about that stuff as I don't have kids yet, but some of the things that haunt me a little bit is like, especially having a girl.
Well, you're gonna have to think about all this stuff.
Overprotective. I'm like, make sure no guys mess with her. Yeah. I'm not gonna dress up like a nun. But that being said, I'm be like, yeah, I know what guys think. And then so it's gonna be this double standard. I totally apologize for my future kids.
Well, for those of you out there, give us a holler. Podcast at dudestodads.com.
Yes.
Twitter at dudestodads. Facebook, Dudes to Dads.
Yes.
Let us know your thoughts and feedback on that. How should you police your children's clothes, and if so, at what age? So that's the Dad's debate for today.
Cool. All right.
So up next, Dad's homework. We're talking this episode about back to school, and the focus on especially if you have a kindergartner or something that's going into school for the first time in major school. So here's something you should do. So now I talked about giving them a massage as stuff to do. So what I'm suggesting is for this first week, that's your homework, is giving them extra attention. Mm-hmm. You don't have to necessarily do the massage. I mean, I think the massage would be great.
Yeah.
But just giving them extra attention is the homework. Mm-hmm. So for the first week of school, make sure that you're really giving them hugs, affection, talking to them, doing that. This is a big transition for them. Making sure that you're there for support. And one of the most important things is when you ask them, they come home, you're not asking them what they did or what they accomplished.
Yeah.
You can simply ask the questions, did you have fun?
Yeah.
Did you make new friends?
That's fair. Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
That's a good question, too.
Like, you're not starting off their school journey by making sure that they accomplish something.
And what did you accomplish today?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, totally. Like, you did not accomplish anything? Did you not do anything all day?
What's the point of going?
You had snack and slept on the, on the mat? Wow, that was really difficult. I mean, you rode the bike around the thing. How awesome was that? But basically, allow them by saying, hey, did you have fun? Or what kind of fun did you have? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And kind of keeping it in that light realm. It's kindergarten, for goodness sake.
Sure.
They don't have to accomplish a ton.
Yeah.
So I think that's an important thing to keep in mind as a homework. So, so for dads, homework this week, just give them extra attention, talk with them, give them some hugs. And if you're really want to make it special, give them a 10-minute massage. So
lucky kids.
Totally. My kids, I'm going to have to do it.
Now you have to do it because the kids listen.
So let's finish up with quote of the day.
All right.
Today's quote, keeping in reference of the school, is by Tom Bodett. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right.
Okay.
Bodett.
All right.
And it says, the difference between school and life, in school you're taught a lesson and then given a test. In life, you're given a test that teaches you a lesson.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, and that's totally accurate.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, life will teach you some lessons, and, you know.
Yeah, often with tests
Absolutely.
First.
Right.
You don't get the notes beforehand.
Right.
You learn it, and then
No
you have
cliff
to learn.
notes.
Then you get a lesson out of it. And that's the thing. A lot of people, and we can get philosophical on this, but like a lot of people do not take lessons away from their tests. There's the problem. People always study for a test, and then you take a test, and that's it.
Right.
You got to take the lesson away from the test, and that's
Right.
what life's supposed to be about.
And that's one to grow on.
Ring!
All right. With that, we're going to say we'll see ya.
Yes,
And,
podcast at dudesadads.com. Please write us in. That'd be great to hear from you.
Yeah, also, you know what? A review on iTunes would be great.
Stitcher.
5-star review, subscribe, and then also on Stitcher.
Leave some comments for us.
Yeah, leave some comments. Send us some feedback. We'd love to hear from you.
Yep.
And we'll see you next time.
All right.
See you.
Take care.